Hey, this is TabNation, or Tom as you know me. I'm here actually today with the automator, Joe, and we're going to be talking about just kind of freestyling about how to get the best help when you're looking to learn something new with your code or, a problem with your script. So I hope you guys learn a lot. This is going to be on both of our channels, so you'll see it uploaded twice. So watch where you will. And yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So like I said, you and I were talking the other night, Tom, about how fun and interesting some of the requests we get for help. Like, and should I even dare say commands at times,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, it's kind of crazy to me that it's one of the things of people on YouTube are just used to getting stuff for free, and I think that's part of it. Is they just some don't get me wrong, right? There's a lot of my subscribers that are amazing, and they actually investigate stuff on their own, and then do some homework and stuff, and then ask for help. And those guys, I love to help. But then you have the other side where what was the one that I think you and I really started laughing about, because you started the sentence and I'm like, I can finish the sentence for you. The person doesn't even bother to go find a video like related to the topic. They will post, a statement like question, hey, do this for me. And it has nothing even to do with the video that they posted on. And it's kind of insane to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, the two big comments I always get, I call them demand comments, like you were saying, where those I just completely ignore. I'll be honest, like I'm not going to answer you. But then, yeah, I do get a lot of statement ones where people say something along the lines of, hey, I need a script that does this and this. And if it's a good day, I'll link some videos and I'll be like, here, look at this video and that video, specifically these commands. But if it's kind of like an day, I'll be like, oh, cool, good to know.
It's so as an example, in case people don't understand it, they're like, yeah, I need this script to be able to do this when I hit the button. And that's when you just reply, that's cool, right? It's hilarious. I generally just answer people. And here's part of the thing, like I wanted to help tell people was I never, especially when they do it in an email. So some people will email me and say, or they message me on Facebook and say, hey, I'd like this, would you do this for me? And I'm like, first off, I don't help anybody unless I have a prior relationship with you and we've done stuff together, whatever. I don't help anybody one-off, right? I'm like, it's got to be in a public area where maybe other people can see it and learn from it, because I'm too busy. My time's worth too much in order to be helping one person I don't even know with something that, like is random. And then I got to help the very next person on the same exact question, right? And that to me is why I'm like, no, I don't do one-offs where no one else will see it. Sorry, post it in a forum somewhere and maybe I'll reply or someone else will.
Yeah, and I think a great thing about this video is, people don't really think of our side, or not just our side, but just anybody in general, that, our channels. And another thing too to point out with this video is we're centered around AutoHotkeys, but this applies to like learning anything on YouTube or the internet, any type of language, is that we're here to educate you, not give out free labor, basically. And I think that's very easy for people to forget, that we're here to teach you to do it yourself, not for us to do it for you. So yeah, I think that's something always that people just kind of, they think of their side, but not our side. So it can be something that gets lost in transition and makes us not want to help you.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer, which is exactly what you're saying, is I love to teach people how to fish. I will work very hard to help you if you want to learn, right? But I'm not going to do it for you. And I'm one of those people, I kind of do like you said, even on my best times, I don't give them the solution. I will point them to things and say, look at this. Here's an example where I did that. You need to adapt it, but it's not going to solve it. But get them to at least think about it, because if you don't do that, no one learns. And then they just keep them, whether they're bugging me or someone else, right? They need to learn. What's that?
Definitely. Yeah, they'll just keep coming back and back over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
And we notice trends. I notice people who are asking questions or demand or statement questions over and over again. So yeah, maybe I helped you the first time, but if you're just going to keep coming back and back, like I'm going to help you less and less and less every single time.
Yeah. And that, so here's some other things to keep in mind. if you do have a specific question, first off, don't send me a 10,000 line script. Send something that's just relevant, the things I need to know, and again, post it actually on a question somewhere in the forum or wherever where other people can see it, but post the relevant information. Also offer up other things, kind of like you and I were talking the other day about version 2, AutoHotkey version 1. Say what version you're using, say your operating system, other things that we really kind of need to know to help understand, what bitness you're using. These are all things that are really helpful for us to know. Be like, oh, you know what? You're right. That doesn't work in 32-bit or it doesn't work in 64-bit, and just run it in the other bitness.
Yeah, and then taking that extra 30 seconds to even give us a simple piece of information like that can save you an entire hour, because you ask that question, you leave out that, that small insignificant piece of data that you're thinking. I have to sit there and ask, well, what version are you using? What operating system are you on? And then you're not going to see that probably for an hour because you're working or doing something. That's an hour delay now in giving your answer for something that took you, just, hey, an extra 30 seconds. Hey, maybe the data was completely useless, but maybe it'll save you an hour in the long run.
Well, in my experience as well, and Jackie and I think we covered this in a podcast at one point, but by writing that down and talking through and making sure you have the relevant information, often you'll actually solve the thing yourself. You realize, oh, I'm calling this function that's not in my library. And, that's a big one I'm sure you see a lot too. It's like, this says, no function, it's not included. It's calling a function. Like, you need to include the function, you need to put it either in your script or in your library or use an include.
Rubber duck coding, basically.
Absolutely, right. Yeah. Why don't you go, you brought it up, you explain what that is.
Yeah. The way I explain it is I actually in the office would always have a little rubber duck that I won from one of those claw machines. And ducks, they don't know how to code. They're they don't even know how to use a computer. So you sit there and you talk to your duck about, okay, so this right here, this is called a hotkey. And what that does is when I press a button on the keyboard, it does this. Now I have to make sure I include this for it to work. And then a lot of times you'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot a comma here. So basically you're dumbing it down to the very basics for a rubber duck who does not understand coding. And you'll find the simplest thing you might have missed that's causing your entire script to fail.
Yeah, I've heard it referenced as a bobblehead approach too, right? You talk to a bobblehead, but basically you explain it, you think of someone else, they don't have to be a programmer, and you start explaining the problem you're having to them. And often, and I've done this myself plenty of times, when you're doing that, and you can't, let me clarify something here. When we say it out loud, we're being literal, because if you mentally just do it in your head, it doesn't work, right? You actually have to, or write it or whatever, but you got to actually get it out of your brain. And that's when suddenly the light will go off in your head and you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. So yeah, that's a great one. The other one is and another tip, which you brought this up the other day, was that whole thing of like, people will ask you questions. Hey, this doesn't work. And they give you something and it's not even our code, and it's like, hey, I don't even work in that area. Like, people ask me stuff with GUIs all the time. And I tell people, I don't really work with GUIs. I'm like, I just don't. I've kind of played with them, but Isaiah, from my team, he does them. But it's like, you ask me about a GUI, I'm like, you need to go to the forum or ask someone else. I don't know those.
Yeah, I get that all the time where someone's like, hey, the script doesn't work, and it'll take me like minutes. I'm just sitting there looking at it. I'm like, what video did I do where I did this script? And it wastes my time. So even just saying like, hey, like, I found this on the forum over here, like, can help us too. So, letting us just know who the creator is, and then maybe reaching out to the creator and not us, can be a big help too.
Awesome. All right, now I don't think we brought this one up the other night, but I can't wait to see your face on the reaction to this, right? Okay. Let's say you have like let's say you have a 30-40 minute video, right? And someone will say, yeah, this doesn't work. Or, hey, what did you do right here? And you're like, right where? They give you a link to the video. You're like, right where? What doesn't work? Like, what are you talking about? this is a 45-minute video. How about you give me a timestamp at least, right? To say, to jump to here and know what it is. Because I'm like, I did that video 3 years ago. I don't know what in the world I even covered in that, let alone I'm not going to go rewatch a 45-minute video to try to figure out what you're referring to. So those timestamps are really helpful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always like the saying, when I created this code, only God and I knew how it worked. Now only God knows.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
We're writing tons and tons of scripts. I can't count how many I've written. So, I mean, even a script I wrote 2 weeks ago, it's like, if you tell me there's an issue, tell me what line you think it's on, what section, at least that's going to pinpoint me in the direction versus me having to like recompile my own script and remember what it was I was doing, what my goal was.
Right.
So yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely helpful with the timestamps.
Yeah. So another good point, which you just brought up there too, is also include, an actual. So I like to tell people, give me the darn script file. Don't send me a picture of the thing. And usually when they do that, it's not of the whole thing. And so I'm like, I don't know what you're referring to. I have to go track back where the entire script was, in order for me to put it into a tool that I can try to run it. So give me the whole script, at least the relevant part, and let me make it easy for me to troubleshoot it. But yeah, the whole, here's an image of a subset of something that, like you said, we did 6 months ago, a year ago, and how many thousands of things have we done since then? Like, it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
And if it's a script you wrote and you take a picture, I'm going to have to sit there and retype everything off the image. Now, images are good when it comes to like air boxes, that kind of stuff. And there are websites out there, which I'll link one in my description below, where you can upload a picture very easily and then link it. That's fine, because if we can see the air, hey, it's saving you time on versus having to type out an air. So pictures are fine when you do, maybe the program or something you're using, but yeah, definitely not code. I have gotten a few of those before, especially on Facebook for some reason.
What I tell the people when I am willing to help them, I will tell them, because I'm just this lazy too, but I'll say, hey, I give them the entire syntax, code in a file, but I'll record a video documenting what the problem is and talking through, hey, I'm running this, and I just talk through the stuff. And I'm like, I'm okay with that, because writing it out and explaining it clearly, especially if it's something weird, like when I clicked this happens, that can be really hard to type out and explain very clearly. So in a video, it's super easy, and I can watch it. And usually it's like a 10 or 20 second video. I'm like, oh, I can see what's going on. I see the error, like you mentioned. I can see the script in the background, or at least the highlighted stuff. But make sure you give me the actual file as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then another thing too that I wanted to bring up that I think it's kind of funny that I have to bring it up, just because it seems like it would be common sense, but apparently not, is all programming languages, they've been out for a while. So there's a good chance that somebody has already had your problem. Kind of going back to where you're saying, do it in a public place. Yeah. That way it's out there for the next person. So Google. Yeah. That's Google. The first thing we should do is Google. There's so many times where I'll get a question. Hey, is there a script that does this? And I'm like, hey, to be honest, it only took me 20 seconds to Google and find the exact thing you were looking for. And that's going to save you tons of time, everybody's time. And then you're not spamming a whole bunch of the same post out there that already exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Jackie, for several years, and I think he still is an admin, he just doesn't do as much as he used to, on the AutoHotkey forum. And the number of people that come there and ask the same question over and over and over is just insane. And it's, that should have been the first thing we mentioned, was make sure you search for it. And don't just search for it, even though the forum is a great place. I would also say Stack Overflow, the subreddit, in Discord. I don't know. Can you search Discord? I don't know. I don't do much on Discord.
You can, but it's okay. It's not very great.
but Reddit and Stack Overflow are two really good sources for looking for if someone's had this problem before. And then, yeah, making sure you explain what it is you're looking for. Now, here I will understand is sometimes I'll be trying to do something and I don't know the technology behind it, right? And that's where I'll agree, I don't even know how to search for something. And that's usually when I reach out to people like Jackie or someone, I'm like, this is what I'm trying to do. Is that called something? Because I don't even know what to, what to search for.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. I've ran into that before too. It's like, I visually know what I want to do, but I don't know how to put it into text to Google it. And that's perfectly fine. But make sure you mention that. There's so many times where people will say in a subreddit, they could sit there and say, how do I do this?
Right.
You're not going to get help. But if you say, hey, I tried Googling it, but I'm not really sure what I should be Googling.
Right.
You're going to get
That's
more
usually
help.
what I ask is,
So just laying out the steps
in the right direction.
Done.
Yeah.
Even like the simple steps, like I've Googled this, is going to help them.
No, that's actually a really good point too. Absolutely. Tell them, give you a little bit. Here's the things I try. Because I'll tell you what, this gets back to, we're trying to make sure people watching this video get the help they're asking for. Right. And when I first start reading a comment somewhere and they say, I tried this, I tried this, I tried this, suddenly I'll actually read it and go, all right, maybe I can help this guy because they've tried. Right. I'm like, if someone's given it a little bit of effort, I'm much more likely to help them. The other one, which I had thought of, was because we're human. At least I am. I'm not sure about you. No, I'm kidding. What I would say is, after, when we do help you, hey, thank us, or share some of our scripts and say, hey, you know what? Hey, this guy's done a good job. I like this video. We're not necessarily asking for money, but just sharing, our channels or posts is a big help to us.
Oh yeah, and even something as simple on a thumbs up on Reddit, that actually, when someone says, and then, first of all, just telling us that, thank you, I got it working. Because then I'm sitting there kind of sometimes wondering, like, did this person just give up? Did they figure it out? So just replying back and saying, hey, thank you, thumbs up to you. It actually means a lot to the person, because it's just kind of, it's like closure.
Actually, I'll take that a little further, because you're spot on, right? I, in a lot of ways, stopped helping random people because I have the feeling, because I know from just in real world working with them, the vast majority of people I end up doing stuff for don't end up using it anyway. And it just, you want to beat your head against a wall because you spend time and then they don't even use it. So what I got to say, I live for more than anything, more than money, this and that, is when people write me after the fact and say, Joe, I've been either watching your videos or think for you're this thing. You have saved me hundreds of hours. I love getting these emails where basically I've changed people's lives. And it's a really, really rewarding feeling, right? And that encourages us, of course, to actually offer to help more people, because you see it getting used, right? And that's, for me, is a real personal thing. And that's why I do what I do. Is it sure ain't for the money. I mean, you'll know soon. You're getting monetized, right away here. You don't make much off of the YouTube actual, your video views, right? It's a very small amount, but getting the reward that knowing you're making a difference in people's lives, to me, is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and on YouTube, I have some of my favorite subscribers, and these are people who every single time a video helped them, they make sure to let me know. They'll be like, hey, this is awesome, I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
That makes me feel good, because the whole purpose of my channel is to educate. So when I have, it's like a teacher when a student comes up and be like, hey, I learned something. It's what an educational YouTube channel is really all about, is that education and getting rewarded that way through motivation.
Yeah. And I'm sure it happens at least 10 times or 100 times more often than people actually tell me it did, but it's still, that's why it's great to hear when people reach back out and go, man, that saved me, or I got a raise, or I kept my job and everyone else was cut. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that when AutoHotkey can really benefit you, which again is,
Another thing I wanted to kind of throw out there in the video is when you're making a post, whether it's on Facebook or Reddit, wherever, is read the rules. There's so many times people, like in the subreddit for AutoHotkeys, there's one rule that's like, don't ask for scripts for player versus player video games. But we'll get at least 1-2 every single week where someone's asking that. And it's like, when the mod sees that, they're just going to delete your post, and you're going to sit there confused. Why did my post get deleted?
Or get shadow.
Nobody's going to help you, or you're going to get a ton of downvotes. And
right.
That's a bad feeling. Is you sit there and you're like, I just asked a question. Why is everybody downvoting me? It's like, well, you didn't read the rules. And that's going to save you time. It's, you know, going to save the mods time. It's going to save everybody time. And you're not going to be sitting there left confused on what just happened.
No, that's a good point as well, right? Because every forum or every place we're doing it has different rules on what's allowable. Actually, I noticed on the other Facebook, the main Facebook group, there's the one I manage is like 1.5 thousand people. Then there's another one that's like 1.2 thousand. And they have a standing post at the beginning that basically says, kind of like what you said, something about don't ask for something that's like an automation on a game. I think it's a one versus. I think it mentioned something about the player versus player or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So just reading that for a few seconds, that's going to save everybody time. So the rules are there for a reason.
So hopefully that helps you guys.
We don't have rules on our YouTube pages, so it's a little harder on our side.
Right. Yeah. So I hope this helps people. And we brought up some of the stuff is kind of a painful joke of it when you're a YouTuber, you're like, it's so familiar to you. And it comes with the territory, right? So I don't want to, like I said, the vast majority of people watching my videos and subscribers and stuff, they're great. They're courteous. They don't ask for crazy stuff, but you get the one-offs, and especially actually you had mentioned, and we don't have to go into details, but there were like someone really even like kind of demanded and got really mad at you, pissy with you, right? That you wouldn't do something for him.
Yeah, I had a guy who, this is a while ago. So I have my Discord username on like the description of my channel or whatever. This guy reaches out to me, and at first he's like, hey, I was hoping you could help me. And he was pretty nice at first, so I was willing to hear him out. But then he just like described this insane script that I was like, to be honest, like, I would charge for something like this. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you $20. I was like, whoa. I was like, I'll be honest with you. This is probably one of the most complicated requests I've ever got by a long shot. So I was like, I would be looking more for something like $200 an hour for something like this, because this is the most crazy thing I've ever done. And it's going to take me 8 hours to code something like this. And he just got so mad with me. He's like, no, $20. He's like, I need it within 2 hours. So I was like,
sorry, you didn't tell me. I don't remember you saying that.
I was like, no. I was like, sorry, I can't help you.
See,
and he just every single day he would message me like twice going, how's the script coming? I kept telling him I'm not doing it. And he's like, well, what's the point of you doing YouTube videos? I'm like, so that you can do them. Like, what do you mean? And I finally just blocked the guy. But yeah, he like harassed me, like demanding that I do it. And I was like, just like, I've had people who give me demand comments like, hey, make a script that does this. Okay, whatever. Like, this is the first time I've ever like been harassed by someone who was like, I felt like he was going to hunt me down, and, like force me to sit at a computer and code for him. It was crazy.
What was that stupid movie?
He's probably watching this video right now.
Right. Yeah. There was one with John Travolta and someone else where they forced him to be doing this coding stuff. Hugh Jackman was like the coder, and I forget what, it was a stupid movie, but that is funny of just like this. Yeah, we're gonna hold a gun to your head and do all this stuff to get you to, it's like, come on, dude. I see that guy, like I would have been like, oh, I'm $20, I'm on it. Like, oh, I can't wait. Oh, I sent it to you. Check your spam. No, I sent it to you. I'll send it again. Give me a minute. I'll send it, and just keep them, hanging over and over, because like you're just wasting my time. I'm gonna waste yours.
Here's my next script that I'm gonna write later tonight: a Rick roll script, where I say, okay, here's the code. You just press F1 and it's going to automatically open a YouTube page. And he's just going to be sitting there, never going to let you go. I'm definitely writing that script for situations.
That's awesome.
Like that.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Look forward to that on my channel, where I do a video of how to rickroll people.
It's funny. It's suddenly going to be the most popular video ever, right? Is all these people going to it. What is, I don't get, there's something wrong with the script.
It's gonna be great. And just to throw this out there for everybody who's viewing this video right now, if you guys have any other points that we don't talk about in this video on how you think you could get better help, or, just etiquette and that kind of stuff, definitely put them in the comments below so that we can share them with everybody, because we definitely probably missed some stuff that we didn't think about in this video.
Yeah, well, one is, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but offering to give some money, or it doesn't have to be equal to what it'd be for the work, or offering after the fact, buying, giving us $20 or 10, whatever it is, depending on the thing, that never hurts, and it's nice to everyone. It's actually the reward for me. I used to make a lot of money when I worked in corporate America, right? So when I hear someone offer me $20 or something, I'm like, this conversation wasn't even worth $20, let alone work I'm going to do for you, So I tell people, look, it's not that you gave me $10 or $5. It's that you felt you received value and you gave me something, and that makes me feel like, hey, it was actually worth something to them, and that's a really good feeling.
Oh yeah, everybody's value is different, so it's always appreciated too when you show us what it was worth to you.
And there are, there's people that live in other countries where, $20 is a lot of money, right? Oh, yeah. So that's why I'm like, I tell people, it's okay if you're in third world countries or wherever where $20 is a week's worth of work. Don't send me any money, man. It's okay,
And I see that a lot on Reddit too. Just the niceness of people where they'll say, hey, I need a script that does XYZ. I'm willing to pay $20. And you'll get so many people who will comment on there and be like, right, hey, don't worry about it. Here's the code, right. So a lot of times people won't even accept your money. They're just happy to help you, give you some pointers, and hope you learn, so next time you don't have to offer money.
Right. But still, it's not a bad way to actually get more eyes on it, right? Oh, yeah, the question is, sometimes you get people who don't have a clue what they're doing, and can be painful. But yeah, throwing it out there at the beginning, I'm willing to spend some money on this. But yeah, it's awesome.
Oh no, it definitely draws the attention of a lot of people. That's for sure. I mean, even like $5, like, it draws people's attention, and
it's from, I don't know if you're a Seinfeld fan, it's found money, it's just an extra little bit of money that I now have. I'm like, hey, that's handy, it's nice. And yeah,
I like that, found money.
Yeah. All right, well, is that it, you think?
Yeah, that's all I can think of. Like I said, anybody viewing this, throw in the comments below if we missed something, or you have an idea of a good way to get better help.
Absolutely. All right, man. It's great talking to you. Cheers.
All right. See you guys.